So you chose your class, a magical wizard or a tough fighter. Another important decision is your ancestry, or your character's species. There are 8 ancestries in Player Core, which I was provided with a complimentary pocket edition by Paizo. Thanks! Depending on your game master, your ancestry might be very important to the story. It will affect how others see you and how you and your family history fit into the world. It also affects your character mechanically. Your ancestry will grant your character attribute boosts and possibly flaws, as well as at least 1 free attribute boost. Keep in mind you can always choose to take 2 free boosts instead. Then there are the smaller details your ancestry provides, like hit points, size, language, and senses. All ancestries also get a heritage and an ancestry feat that you can choose. You'll only ever get 1 heritage, which is not exactly like an ethnicity, but more like your specific family. For example, if your grandfather was a famous hero, or if your family lives in the jungle. Feats are more flexible, and while you get one at level 1, you can eventually get more. Each ancestry has a few aspects about them, and you can emphasize or de-emphasize these aspects based on which heritage or feats you choose. Elves live up to 600 years old, so they can have ancestral longevity or ancient elf. Some elves hang around humans a lot and have to constantly watch humans die, and they become sad. These elves are called forlorn. They're tall and thin, so they are fast, but have less hit points and constitution, and can use weapons that utilize this. And elves are mysterious and magical, so get extra intelligence and many opportunities to gain a little bit of magic no matter their class. Elves are also from another planet. Some elf groups came back relatively recently, like 2,000 years ago, and have classical elf culture. Others have been here a long time and became their own thing. Wherever an elf lives, their body changes to look like the environment. Goblins can seem scary when you're traveling through the forest alone and suddenly find yourself surrounded by small, exceptionally sneaky, needle-toothed creatures. Goblins can have these traits, small and dexterous and very sneaky. But this is only a superficial understanding of the goblin ancestry. Goblin culture has many important principles like setting fire to things, singing songs, and despising horses, which is why they ride strange rodents called goblin dogs. The most important thing to a goblin is having fun and living in the moment. The actual biology of goblins are inexplicable. They eat 4 times as much as humans despite being so small and eat almost anything, meaning they can have unstoppable teeth and stomachs. In Arctic regions, they can also have fur. Goblins can at times seem to abide by cartoon physics themselves. Goblins also raid junkyards frequently to build weapons and strange items they can utilize with out-of-the-box thinking. Orcs are another ancestry that can seem intimidating. Physically, orcs have many useful abilities. They can make themselves intimidating, they have tusks, tough bones, and fists, and can keep fighting seemingly forever. These traits lend themselves well to the culture of orcs, who live together in communities called holes, and frequently prove strength to each other by resisting pain and winning glory in battle. Orcs are also known to train and keep ferocious animals as pets, but orcs are almost as adaptable as humans, with free attribute boosts and traits well suited to almost any environment. And orcs might seem like villains, but they have their own history fighting undead and being highly suspicious of any dark and dishonorable magic. Dwarves are stocky creatures with high fortitude, both physical and mental. They're slower to move than most, but have more hit points and constitution. Dwarves originated thousands of years ago underground in a network of caves called the Darklands, until a vision of a deity and a cataclysm on the surface told them to emerge. This connection to the earth often means they can have abilities that help them on uneven terrain and are equipped at dealing with the underground species. Dwarves have unparalleled craftsmanship and ability with dwarven weapons and armor. Culturally, dwarves are wise, loyal, and off-putting. They have strong, proud family trees called clans, and every dwarf gets a clan dagger when they reach puberty. Gnomes are actually fairies. Their species originates from a place called the First World, where fairies come from. So gnomes operate on fairy logic, meaning they often have strong ties to magic, can get along with other fairies, and can detect illusions. They're also attuned to animals and can have pets or conversations with them. Their fairy abilities might be clear from their physicality. They're small, giving a penalty to strength, but with colorful hair and clothes that can seem like an art piece. However, because gnomes are from the First World, but are no longer in the First World, they need to be constantly doing new and interesting things, otherwise they'll turn gray and die. Lushies are plant people. They can be made of almost any type of plant, and Lushie heritages are almost exclusively describing what kind of plant they are. But because Lushies are plant, they can also gain cool plant abilities like long vines and seed pods. But how does a plant become a person? Well, the body of a Lushie is actually constructed by a druid specifically for a nature spirit to be able to inhabit and puppeteer. These nature spirits are immortal, but don't gain memories until they begin their life as a Lushie, so they have an intelligence flaw. But that doesn't mean Lushies aren't small and cute. Humans are famous for being real, and the most populous ancestry on Galarian, meaning they are very versatile, with 2 free attribute boosts and able to gain extra feats and training if they wish. Despite this versatility, humans are also strong-willed and ambitious, meaning they can unlock more class abilities at level level 1, as well as be cooperative with other humans and a little ingenious, excelling in ventures that require creativity. Halflings are famously small, like gnomes and goblins, as well as having giant hairy feet that are so calloused they don't even need shoes. These traits grant them good dexterity but poor strength and lower HP. Halflings live almost everywhere humans do, but always keep to the shadows to try and be unnoticed. That means halfling tradition is about sneaking around and staying watchful, especially since so many halflings have a history of indentured servitude. That doesn't mean halflings don't have culture. They often bring a folksy small-town vibe and know how to relax, a wise ability. They have folk sayings and ride big hairy riding dogs instead of horses, and they know how to gossip. Part of these folk stories are the famous but rare halfling heroes, known for incredible luck, felling creatures much larger than them and using strange and interesting halfling weapons. Some heritages are called versatile heritages, which means any ancestry can take them. For example, if you had one particularly unique ancestor or some magical influence on you. Nephilim are characters who had some influence from the outer planes, like an angel or demon. Let's say your father was a priest and was visited by an angel, and then when you were born you had angel wings. You could represent this with the versatile heritage Nephilim, instead of taking one of the orc heritages. Nephilim get low light vision and can choose an ancestry feat to represent what sort of outer plane creature they are. These are lineage feats, so if you take one of these, you have to take it at level 1 and can't change it. Nephilim might also have some specific physical feature like hooves, halos, or glowing eyes, and being a Nephilim might grant some special knowledge too. A changeling is the child of a hag who replaced a baby. A changeling has 2 different eye colors, and like a Nephilim, a changeling can choose a lineage to represent what type of hag their mother was. Otherwise, they might have some specific physical trait that resembles a hag, like glowing eyes, claws, or magic blood. They could also choose changeling lore. Finally, there are mixed ancestries. If you have a parent or grandparent of another ancestry than the one you initially chose, you can theoretically have any combination, which allows you to pick ancestry feats from either ancestry if one of them has low light vision or dark vision, you also get that trait. But 2 mixed ancestries are particularly common: human elves called Ayuvaran and human orcs called Dromars. They can also choose from these special feats.